welcome back to Sonic Colors. Today we'll be taking a look at the Starlight Carnival, and as much as it pains me to say this level is pretty much indicative of why people tend to dislike 3D Sonic gameplay, because while looking and sounding gorgeous, it pretty much plays itself. It's like a roller coaster, if you will.
Pretty much. I mean, like this section here, a lot of people bring up a comparison with Levitated Ruin from Secret Rings, because when you're on this thing, Sonic just will go forward automatically. So you know, you aren't playing the game, and it's just, I mean, this level in particular, Act 1 of Starlight Carnival, I would say at least 40 to 50% of this level, the game plays it for you.
Well, at least the background's nice to look at, but literally all you're doing here is quick-stepping.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, this level's odd because it features, when you're outside in space, it features some of, like, the greatest graphics in the game. I mean, like, the place right now, it kind of looks like the Egg Fleet, if Egg Fleet was designed by a gay man. You know, and this track by Tomio Otani, I think is genius.
I prefer the later tracks where it becomes a bit like a disco rave.
Yeah, well, speaking of disco, I mean, I love when you hear the multicolored checkerboard at the floor. It looks like something out of like Saturday Night Fever.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, so Tom, weren't you saying that some people don't actually like the colors, the gameplay?
Yeah, a lot of people tend to prefer Unleashed, and I'm not sure why, because Colors, while still having slightly floaty physics, handles a lot better than Unleashed ever did.
Which again, well, I wouldn't say a lot of people. I'd say, I'm not sure if it's split 50-50, but I know everyone I speak to prefers Colors, you know, like massively over Unleashed. But a couple of people, especially on places like the Stadium and Retro, will say, I think one of the problems they have is that Colors it's pretty much a 2D game. You know, I mean, like, you know, it's the 3D pretty much extends to going forward for 20 seconds and then having some 2D platforming.
That is probably my biggest gripe with Colors, actually, the lack of 3D gameplay.
I want to play a 3D game, you know, because I love this stuff with the Motorbugs. I love that stuff.
They got serious.
They did. The Motorbugs are hilarious. I love them. You just destroyed the fuck out of them. It's great.
You see the Spinies back there? See what we said about classic badnits coming back?
Exactly. See, Sonic Team are learning with this. We don't just have the stupid egg robos. We have fucking classic badniks. But yeah, a big problem with one major complaint people do have is that there's virtually no real 3D platforming. The 3D sections do just tend to be run forward, grind for a bit, and then, you know, it turns 2D and then actual gameplay starts.
That's not to say there's no 3D gameplay, but it's very few and far between.
The 3D gameplay, what 3D gameplay there is in this game, I much prefer it over Unleashed.
It just handles better.
It does, because, well, I've been playing Wii Unleashed a lot over the last few days, and I've forgotten how bad the controls are in that game.
Yeah, you can't turn on a dime at all.
You can't in Unleashed. I mean, like, yeah, you don't really have a reason to turn around in Colors, but if you want to, you can.
We should probably start talking about the power-ups in the level, Gareth.
Oh, yeah. Cube!
Probably my least favourite of the power-ups. I don't know why. It acts kind of like the P-block from Super Mario Bros. 3.
Yeah, it does. I mean, like, the problem with I had with Cube was that when I first got it, I would just spam the crap out of it, and if you spam it, you will die easily.
Yeah. It also acts as a stomp, which works very well because, like I said, Colors, while having better handling and whatnot than Unleashed, has very floaty physics, which makes it hard to land jumps sometimes.
Yeah, the physics of the double jump sometimes can screw you over if you're trying to do like precision platform. I think Cube may be the only Whisper that doesn't actually transform Sonic.
No, he definitely turns into the Cube.
Well, I mean, like, he turns into it for like 2 seconds though. I mean, like, if you go for someone like Drew or Frenzy, you are that for like the entirety of the Wisp power.
Oh, Frenzy.
I love Frenzy. I forget, when did we meet Frenzy? That's in Asteroid Coaster, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Do your impression of Frenzy quickly.
Do I have to?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Fine. Burn out. There you go.
I would love it, you know, at SOS, when they had Radio Sega, we should have got you on stage. Just to be like, dun 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 dun, and now all the Cube Wisps are free. Hooray!
Yeah, they're just gonna sit around, the lazy fucks.
Now, I know what we were saying about Starlight Carnival looks amazing. In my opinion, that's really only the outside. When you're inside, it kind of just looks like a boat. Like, when you hit, like, the floor looks pretty and colourful. But the background is just like you're in like some kind of weird neon warehouse.
Yeah, it's like a factory. Robotnik thought, the robot's productivity is down. I know. I'll get their morale up by putting multicoloured lights on the floor.
Exactly, and I'm pretty sure some of the egg pawns are playing like trumpets and shit, which is I will say, as much as I think the egg pawns are kind of crappy villains, I like the fact that in this they have like zone specific ones.
It's that little personal touch which for me puts colours over Unleashed.
Exactly, because I mean, in like Tropical Resort, they have like welcome signs. In Sweet Mountain, that they wear like chef's hats and stuff. It's just like it's very small. I mean, like, just very small things that, for me, again, just makes colours stand out more than Unleashed.
Little further explanation of the cube power-up. You can also use it to destroy invincible blocks. Spike can do that as well, but this can do it much quicker.
I think one of the problems I had with cube is that it's so like you can only use cube in specific places, and just all it does is just revolves around pressing cube over and over again. For me, it really is the least fun of them.
Well, there's a lot more stages later in the game where you have to use cube to alternate between, because it turns coins into blocks and blocks into coins, like I said, like a P block basically. So you have to be very careful with how you progress through the later stages.
I mean, yeah, I think Cube probably, out of all of them, probably indicts the most actual position platforming, because as Tom said, you have to be careful, you can't just spam it like I do, because you will fail at a level. But I don't know, for me, it doesn't come close to the Frenzy.
I love Hover, which we will be seeing very soon.
The music for Hover is like, I wish you could get like a really extended version of that, because it's such a peaceful little melody.
I love that colours mix that the guy did, the Wisp mix on YouTube.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And I think these levels particularly I think there's one of these again in Aquarium Park when you use it with that little gold springboard throws you around. These levels get a lot of flack. I personally love these levels.
I like it because the springboard actually keeps up with Sonic and goes at the same pace. You can never just go flying off.
But I think, I'm not really sure. I think some people just think these levels are a bit too slow. But again, like these levels, you have to rely on platforming, not just boosting.
Platforming in a Sonic game?
Oh my god, it's like Marble Zone all over again.
Jesus, titty fucking Christ.
And now here's the point where we have nothing else to say about this level.
That is one impressive background, though.
That's actually giving me a seizure.
Did you ever collect all the red rings? I sure as fuck didn't.
I tried to, because I forget, have we spoiled what the red rings do?
Shall we just say it, because it's not going to appear in the playthrough?
Okay, pretty much it. The more red rings you get, the more levels you unlock in the Sonic Simulator. Once you've unlocked all the levels, you can find Chaos Emeralds, and then thus giving you Super Sonic, the first 3D game to give you Super Sonic in levels, which again is a big thing that fans were like, yes, finally!
The Wisp announcer also says Super Sonic!
Which apparently though, when you get Super Sonic, it turns off wisps. And apparently level design changes very slightly to accommodate the fact that Super Sonic can't use wisps. But I tried to, but some of the red rings they're hidden good, man. They're fucking hidden well.
What do you mean hidden even better than the rings in Sonic Advance 2?
Don't bring those up. I know if you go on the official Sega blogs, I know that they've released guides for the first act in each area to like show you where all the red rings are, which is kind of cool. I did like these little green laser firing things.
They remind me of something out of Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim. There's only one word to describe a reference like that.
Groovy!
Groovy!
Hell yeah. I like the fact you can come back to levels later when you've unlocked Wisp to get like S ranks and whatnot.
Yes, which was a great way to kind of, because Colors is a relatively short game. I mean, if you play it non-stop, you can probably beat it in less than a day.
Definitely.
But two things I like about the Wisp. One, that Izuka kind of said that you don't necessarily have to use the wisps. I mean, like wisps do. I mean, there are a few sections where you have to use like hover to get through or whatever. But generally, you can complete most of the levels without using wisps. Wisps just give you more power. I mean, like more points and stuff, and also the fact that they put like places for wisps in earlier levels. So like if you get obviously we won't get Frenzy and to Asteroid Coaster, but you come back here because you need Frenzy to get 2 red rings in that level, which I think that they clearly put a lot of thought into the design of the levels.
Dude, this is awesome. I think every video game should allow you to run on the ceiling.
See, I think that's where Dimps took it from for Sonic 4. See, I bet at Dimps' office, they why is everyone complaining? People loved it in Sonic Colors.
True.
I love this outside because it just looked. Imagine like a scene from one of the Star Trek motion pictures, but all of the Enterprise ships were designed by a flamboyant man, and they aren't fighting anyone. They're just having a sweet rave party in space.
That would make for a very weird episode of The Next Generation. Like Picard just takes like acid, believes he's a hedgehog, and starts running through space shitting rainbows.
Nah, that'd be way more fun if it was Worf. That'd be hilarious.
It would actually.
I just want to say, how exactly is Sonic floating and, go falling down in space?
That's a good fucking point. There's no oxygen or atmosphere to... You know what? Video games.
Well, see, I love the fact that Sonic can breathe. He can breathe in an active volcano. He can breathe in outer space. He can even breathe in China. But he can't breathe underwater. What is that about?
Fuck.
So yeah, we're in space now, and remember when the idea for colors first came out, and like a lot of people were like, yeah, you just copied Mario Galaxy.
That's one of the stupidest arguments I've ever heard. You know what? Mario's been going into space a little bit longer than Sonic overall, starting with, I believe, feel free to correct me on this if I get it wrong, but Space Zone or Land from Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins.
When was that game released?
I don't know, but I specifically remember, and this is just a little bit of trivia, that the boss of Space Zone is Tatanga from the first Mario Land game.
Nice. Well, Sonic first went into space in '92 in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. But actually, if you want to think about it, Sonic has been depicted in space ever since the first Japanese commercial for Sonic 1. The animated one features him in a rocket ship blowing up a Death Egg type machine.
Yeah, but that's a technicality. We're talking strictly from the games there.
Well, strictly in games then Sonic 2, which admittedly he doesn't do a lot in space, but he's seen going into it. And well, since then the franchise has had a long history of being space. But I just want to say quickly, this section here is probably my favourite 3D section in the entire game.
Definitely. It's just the scale of it, the amount of 3D platforming. It's so gratifying. But you know what? Fuck that. I like to be precise and to the point with my recording, so I skip the whole thing using Hover Wisp.
Make me do platforming. Fuck that. I will say the hover. I think in terms of 3D, hover works the best as a wisp because he controls the best, and he's just kind of the most fun to play as.
Indeed. Using like laser and whatnot would have kind of been a clusterfuck.
Yeah. Using laser in 3D is just kind of just taking a shot in the dark.
Right. Are we going by the Japanese release dates here?
Yeah, but essentially, whenever the game was first released anywhere.
Okay. Sonic 2 was released in Japan on November 21st, 1992. Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins was released October 21st, 1992. I mean, really though, in the end, it's just like an interesting bit of trivia. It doesn't really mean anything. Video games share a lot of tropes. Just because one game went into space first, for example, before another game did, doesn't really mean jack shit in the grand scheme of things. Now, Gareth, do you want to explain a little bit about Starlight Carnival's version of the space trope? Because it kind of takes a lot of elements from other Sonic games, doesn't it?
In terms of gimmicks and looks, obviously the thing of jumping from ship to ship looks a lot like Egg Fleet. The sections when you're stuck on that kind of space carpet thing obviously is very similar to I believe it's called Levitated Ruin from Secret Rings. Only it doesn't make you want to kill yourself playing it. I think in terms of gameplay styles and gimmicks, those are the ones that it shares most of. But in terms of space, obviously you got levels like since I only have the soundtrack, so I can never remember what the actual levels are called. From like in SA2, obviously in SA2 you have levels like Final Rush, which is all about grinding around the arc in space. And I think isn't that a shadow level?
Final Rush is Sonic's because he's rushing to get to the cannon. Final Chase is Shadow's.
Oh, of course. Yes, makes sense. Yeah. So essentially, Sonic has had a big history of space, and I would say even though technically, as Tom just showed us, Mario technically would have gone in first, I would say space has played a greater role in the Sonic series as a whole. I mean, games like Sonic 2, Sonic and Knuckles, SA2. The Shadow game takes half of the Shadow game takes place in space.
Well, if you want to get technical, you could say it's the climaxes of Sonic games have had more of a role to do with space. Just as a whole, Mario's gone in more.
I love climaxes in space.
Who doesn't?
Exactly. Now I think this is probably one of the funniest cutscenes. There's an Eggman line coming up where Mike Pollock's delivery is just genius. See, I like this section because this is the one cutscene where Sonic kind of stops making jokes, and he's just kind of like all business here. Now, some people were really hoping there was going to be a kind of fight between Sonic and Tails here. Sorry, this is the line here.
My mind control beam that runs on alien energy counts is doing something to him, does it? To get to me, you're going.
I'm so glad Mike Pollock stayed.
Indeed.
I'm so glad Mike Pollock stayed. Because obviously, as we're about to see here, the prototype stops working. But would you have actually liked a fight between the two?
Honestly, no. I think there wouldn't have been enough to do, and just the way Sonic handles, he's got the homing attack. It would make the fight ridiculously easy, and the bosses are easy as is.
So if you want to see a proper fist fight between Sonic and Tails, there's a issue of Archie where Tails beats up Sonic.
That comic is so fucking stupid.
It's hilarious. Basically, Tails just like, you stole my girlfriend for the last time. I'm gonna beat you up now. It's genius. The fact that Sega approved that just proves they're all insane.
In the meantime, enjoy the party.
The end of this cutscene, I'm gonna completely ruin his career now. I got shown this cutscene before the game came out, thanks to someone who works at the Sonic Stadium. I won't say his name, but he's the owner of it. And I remember this bit where Sonic walks off, literally made me cry with laughter.
You do go the whole hog when it comes to laughing, yeah.
I do. It was the bit where he raises his hand that fucking cracked me up, man.
Banner.
I love that. Now this boss,
Pay up, Tails. I told you Colours was gonna be good. We didn't bet though. Dang.
Pay up, Tails. I told you IGN would give me a good score. This is probably my favourite of the three boss types. This is probably my favourite, hands down.
It's pretty good. It's almost identical actually in the DS version.
Only from the DS version is it entirely 2D, obviously.
It's kind of sad that Dimps have never really tried to push 3D Sonic gameplay all that much. I think the most they've done today is, I think they had a hand in the day stages of the Wii version of Sonic Unleashed, but besides that, all their Sonic stuff is pretty much in 2D. I honestly thought that the 3DS version of Generations was going to be in 3D, but nope, they just stuck in some fancy 3D angles, not gameplay, and called it a day. I've yet to play Generations 3DS. I hear it's not as good as the console version by a long shot, but I still want to play it. One good thing about it is the classic Radical Highway theme is fucking awesome. I'm not really sure why they chose Radical Highway when that's a Shadow level, not a Sonic level, but that's a story for another time.
Laser! I love the fact that the Wisps just destroy the bosses.
It's quite nice being able to interact with the bosses using the Wisps.
You would think though that why would Eggman just build 2 of these machines, like 2 of each boss design?
Maybe. Well, most of his effort went into building the park, I would think.
Well, see, did he actually like? It seems to me like he didn't actually do any actual construction in the park. He just kind of stole some planets and then put robots there.
That is a good point, but you know, he had to like put in souvenir booths. You know, he's sat in an office all day recording lines. That takes up time and effort.
Well, the one thing we know for a fact he did put in was the bucket of sushi, which now, thankfully, features fish. Although apparently his cruelty knows no bounds.
Indeed. Let's not ruin the set pieces, shall we, Gareth?
I'm pretty sure everyone who's listening to this has probably played the game.
Hey Sonic, did you give the guy?
I love this line delivery from Smith. I give it to him pretty good.
I do like Roger as Sonic. He's pretty damn good.
I do love Roger Ing as well.
Well, we know Eggman is going to use the energy he's stealing for a mind control weapon.
See, like, how do you actually think the story would have been praised as much if they'd kept the 4 kids cast and the acting? Because obviously, line delivery helps a lot with like appreciating a script.
Honestly, I don't think it would have been received any other way. I don't think the media actually cares for Sonic and his amazing shitty pals and their pointless adventures of talking in cutscenes.
Well, I'm not talking so much about critics apart from IGN, obviously, who love to talk about how much they hate the other characters. But do you think the fan base would have liked it as much?
I think it would have been received as well as Unleashed, to be honest. I mean, as it is now, obviously with every new change in terms of voice acting, it's going to be polarising. But I think they suit the style of colours. I don't think Griffith would have fit in as well here.
Yeah, maybe not. Although I will say, as you said before, he was getting better before they canned him, unfortunately.
Oh, definitely, he was fantastic in Unleashed and Black Knight.
Also, we talked over it, but that cutscene we just passed features some of the more unfunnier aspect of the colour script, the constant, to translator gags.
Yeah, I never cared for those.
Yeah, well, it was kind of cute the first one, and then it just got annoying.
Well, that's the problem with the humour of colours. It's funny at first, but they drag it on. It's like, are you laughing yet? Are you laughing? No? Well, we're just going to continue then.
I like scenes like this because it started in Unleashed, because Unleashed was the first game, with the exception of SA2 because Eggman was a playable character. Unleashed was the first game to feature cutscenes from his point of view, like what he's doing during the story.
Oh, and behind the scenes, everyday goings on of the villain and so on.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they've kept this going, because I love this version of Eggman where like he's not played for laughs. He's not like a joke, but he does funny stuff.
That was probably one of the worst aspects of the story in the 3D games. He's just a joke. From Heroes and Shadow, he's pretty much a joke. Dude, Heroes was embarrassing.
Yeah, he just spends most of the game locked up in a room.
Spoilers.
Yeah, asking animals to collect crabs. Draw your own conclusions. Bring me crabs!
Not give me, bring me.
And that's why Dean Bristow passed away from shame.
And on that note, please join us next time in Planet Wisp. See you then.
I think I gloated so hard I pulled a muscle.